This isn't your typical love story. It's the kind you tell your friends in hushed tones over wine. The kind you forward to your group chat at 2 a.m. with a message. You won't believe this. Alan was always the quiet type. Observant. Hands that moved fast, but a mind that moved faster. He worked double shifts at a dingy little diner on 8th Street. The kind of place with cracked tiles and a bell above the door that rang too loud every time it swung open. People barely looked at him when he took their orders. They didn't notice the notebook stuffed into his apron. The one he pulled out during breaks to scribble formulas, app flows, and strange symbols that looked like code and chaos. His notebook was his world. A world of wind turbines, carbon trackers, and global impact algorithms. He wasn't just dreaming, he was building. But Corey didn't care about that. Corey loved two things: luxury and attention. She had the influencer aesthetic without the followers, the designer bag without the receipts. And she wanted more now. Not in 2 years. Not someday when Alan's app takes off. I need someone who can match my energy, she'd snap. Alan, wiping sweat off his brow after his 6th table, would nod. Just give me 2 years. I'm building something the world needs. Corey would roll her eyes, flipping through Instagram. The world can wait. I can't. Still, he tried. After every night shift, Alan would walk home through the freezing wind, coat zipped to his chin, his hands in his pockets, whispering ideas to himself. He wasn't just chasing money. He wanted impact, a legacy, to stop climate collapse, one app at a time. But to Corey, it all sounded like another broke boy fantasy. One night, the final straw snapped. Corey came storming into the diner just before closing. Her heels clicked across the floor like gunshots. "We need to talk," she said. Alan was cleaning the coffee machine, apron soaked. "Corey, not now. Can it wait until—" "No, it can't. I'm done waiting." He froze. "Have you subscribed to our channel yet? Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos." She crossed her arms, diamond studs glinting under the fluorescent light. "You've been saying the same thing for 2 years. You're still broke, still working here, still sketching your little app dreams." Alan tried to smile. "I'm close, really close. Just landed a meeting with someone who could help me code the beta." She cut him off. "I'm not saving the planet, Alan. I'm saving myself." And just like that, she turned, walked out, left his world colder than the wind that bit his skin every night. Corey moved on fast. No, scratch that. She flew. 1 week after the breakup, she posted a story. Champagne in one hand, designer purse in the other. The location tag? Dubai. Soft life only, the caption read. The man next to her in the photo wasn't Alan. He was older, flashier, with a Taylor Navy suit, Rolex on one wrist, and the keys to a black Mercedes-Benz dangling in the other. Marcus. He owned real estate, or crypto, or both. No one really knew. But he had money, and Corey was done with struggle love. They went everywhere. Bora Bora, Paris, Tulum. She flooded her feed with photos. Lounging in infinity pools, toasting under chandeliers. Back arched, smile wide, life loud. Meanwhile, Alan stayed silent. But he saw everything. He never commented, never liked a post. But late at night, after closing the diner, he'd scroll through her feed in the dark. Her new life lit up his cracked phone screen. He didn't cry. He didn't rage. He whispered 2 words. "Watch me." And then, just like that, he vanished. Deleted his social media. Left no traces. No posts. No status updates. No contact. Even the regulars at the diner said he quit without notice. One day he was there, sketching ideas on napkins. The next gone. All that remained was a notebook left behind in the break room. The title on the cover? Project Relief, Climate Tech to Save the World. Rumors swirled like smoke. Alan skipped town. Maybe he moved overseas. Joined a startup in Silicon Valley. But the truth was quieter, harder, grimmer. Alan didn't flee. He locked himself into a studio the size of a closet on the edge of town, where the rent was cheap and the Wi-Fi was barely stable. It didn't matter. He wasn't streaming shows. He was building 16-hour days, instant noodles, cold coffee, books stacked to the ceiling, screens blinking code and chaos. He taught himself everything: AI integration, climate modeling, emission tracking algorithms, sustainable tech theory, all from scratch. Sleep? Optional. Friends? Gone. Life? On hold. Every morning, he scribbled 3 words on his whiteboard. Save the planet. Corey? She was a ghost now, a memory he boxed up and shelved. She didn't care where he went. She didn't ask. She didn't wonder. She was too busy posting from Santorini, tagging Marcus in hotel robes, posing on yachts, captioning every photo with "living the dream." Alan saw none of it. He was somewhere else, mentally, spiritually, buried in code and conviction. Then one night it happened. His phone buzzed. A DM request on the one platform he forgot to delete. The message was short. "Call me. I love what you're building." No name, just a number. A San Francisco area code. Alan stared at the message, heart pounding. He looked up at his prototype. Project Relief. The interface was still buggy, the design clunky, but the engine? It worked. Real-time data from climate sensors. Predictive AI to recommend sustainable habits. Geo-tracking for carbon offset projects. It wasn't just an app. It was a movement in code. Alan whispered, "This is it." And press call. Alan sat cross-legged in the dimly lit garage that doubled as his lab, fingers tapping rapidly against his laptop. The air was thick with silent tension, broken only by the occasional hum of his old desktop fan. The prototype was no longer just lines of code. It had evolved, grown teeth. Relief was ready. The app didn't just track emissions. It scanned digital receipts, mapped out the carbon footprint of daily actions, and connected users to verified green businesses, restaurants, clothing brands, energy services. It was like having a digital conscience in your pocket, pushing you to live better, greener. He uploaded the final version at 3:42 a.m. Then silence for 5 hours. Until, ding, the first download, then another. By noon, the app was trending. Not just locally, internationally. Climate influencers posted about it. Eco-celebrities tweeted. A sustainability blogger made a video calling it the single most practical green tech tool I've ever seen. Alan didn't sleep for 3 days. His inbox exploded. Subject: Investment Inquiry. Subject: Relief X National Sustainability Council. Subject: Would love to discuss an acquisition offer. He ignored them all, not out of arrogance, but focus. Alan wasn't building a hype brand. He was building a revolution. Quietly, he set up a small office with 3 interns, students just as obsessed with clean tech as he was. One coded APIs. Another handled customer service. The third tested new carbon detection algorithms. Revenue came in. Then big names started calling. Soft Green Capital, Earth Core Ventures, even the World Ecological Fund. Alan stayed grounded. Relief wasn't for sale. It was a mission. Meanwhile, Corey scrolled past news headlines about a mystery founder disrupting the green tech space. She never read far enough to see his name. Back in his office, Alan adjusted the solar-powered lights overhead, looked at the whiteboard plastered with ideas, biodegradable data servers, carbon offset NFTs, sustainable product tracking. This was no longer just an app. It was a movement. One afternoon, while finalizing the user interface for a business dashboard, his phone lit up. Unknown number. He paused. A text followed. "Alan, this is Dr. Danny Mathias from the Earth Climate Organization. We've been following Relief. Would you be open to presenting your work on national television next month at the International Green Tech Summit?" His eyes widened. The Green Tech Summit wasn't just an event. It was the event. Global leaders, billionaires, scientists, governments, media, all gathered in one place to discuss the future of the planet. Alan swallowed hard. His voice cracked slightly as he whispered, "This is it." The champagne wasn't as sweet anymore. Not when it was followed by silence. Corey lay on a velvet couch in Marcus's penthouse, one hand scrolling absently through Instagram, the other holding a half-empty glass. Designer heels lined the marble floor like trophies. Shopping bags sat unopened, logos screaming money. But the air was cold. Marcus hadn't said a word to her in 2 days. Not one. Not even when she walked in wearing the sheer black dress he once said drove him crazy. She noticed his change months ago, right after she moved in. He'd stopped complimenting her, stopped texting, stopped being kind. Now, he gave orders like she was staff, criticized her friends, told her she didn't need to work. Yet, he made her feel like she owed him everything. She used to feel proud walking beside him. Now she felt like an accessory. Tonight, Marcus came home late, loosened his tie, and tossed it over a $9,000 chair. He didn't look at her. "Where were you?" she asked. He shrugged. "Meeting. Don't wait up." And just like that, he disappeared into his home office. Corey's fingers trembled slightly as she turned her attention back to her phone. She scrolled through old photos, her and Alan on the beach, sitting on crates eating street food, laughing alive. He had stars in his eyes, wild dreams in his head. She laughed at those dreams once, called them childish. Now she missed the way he used to look at her, like she was the center of the world. Marcus looked at her like she was a wall decoration. A reality show played in the background, but her mind wandered. The silence in the apartment felt louder than the TV. She sighed and picked up the remote, flicked through channels, stopped at the news. This groundbreaking app is changing the way we view climate responsibility. Click. Record number of downloads in under a month. Click. Millions of users tracking their carbon footprint daily. Click. Coming up next, meet the genius behind the Relief app, Alan Parker. Her thumb froze over the remote. "Alan?" The room spun for a second. Her heart pounded as the screen cut to a montage of footage. Eco-protests, solar farms, excited users holding up their phones, green business launches. And then, Alan, in a sleek gray suit, sharp jawline, confident smile, walking onto a massive stage under a banner that read, International Green Tech Summit 2025. Corey dropped the remote. The glass in her hand shook. She leaned forward, staring at the screen like she was seeing a ghost. A ghost of everything she gave up. The lights dimmed. A hush fell over the studio audience as the host's voice echoed through the speakers. Please welcome the visionary behind the fastest-growing green tech platform in the world, Alan Parker. Corey leaned forward on the couch, lips slightly parted. The wine glass trembled in her hand. Then, he walked out. Her Alan, but not the Alan she remembered. Not the man who used to wait tables and stained aprons and whisper climate tech dreams over dollar fries. This Alan was different. He stood tall, shoulders squared, sharp, charcoal gray, suit hugging a sculpted frame. His hair, no longer tousled and messy, was styled to perfection. The confidence in his stride was undeniable. The room thundered with applause. He didn't flinch. He just smiled. And Corey gasped. Her eyes widened. Her heart pounded. It couldn't be. He was magnetic, commanding, alive. Alan stepped up to the podium, calm and cool under the spotlight. He began. 3 years ago, I had an idea scribbled on a napkin during a midnight shift. The audience leaned in. I believe we could fight climate change from our pockets, from the phone in your hand. So I built Relief. On the screen behind him, graphs lit up. Real-time carbon data, user dashboards, partnerships with eco-conscious brands, headlines from every major publication, a $1 billion valuation flashing in bold. Applause again. Corey's throat tightened. Marcus walked into the living room, pausing when he saw her glued to the TV. Who's this guy? He asked. She didn't answer. Alan continued. It wasn't easy. I lost sleep, friends, love, but I gained something bigger, a purpose. The applause slowed. He paused. Then, he looked out at the audience. And I wouldn't be here today without someone very special. Corey held her breath. Alan's voice softened. She stood by me through it all, challenged my thinking, matched my late nights with her own, and never, not once, let me quit. Corey's heart skipped. Was he talking about her? Was this his way of reaching out? He turned to the cameras, eyes glistening. To Demi, thank you for believing in me before the world did. The camera panned and landed on a woman in the front row. She was stunning, but not in the flashy way Corey used to be. Demi wore glasses, her hair tied up in a soft bun. No heavy makeup, just natural beauty and an effortless grace. A laptop sat on her lap, even here, typical. She looked at Alan like he was her entire world. Tears shimmered in her eyes. And when she smiled, it was pure, genuine. Corey's mouth opened, but no words came out. Marcus snorted. Tech girls, always into weirdos. She ignored him. Her eyes stayed locked on Demi, on Alan, on everything she gave up. The internet exploded overnight. Every major outlet was buzzing. Climate power couple takes the stage. Alan Parker and Demi Rao, green tech royalty. From waiter to world changer, Alan's billion-dollar rise. But one headline stopped Corey cold. Green couple goals. Alan and Demi to revolutionize climate tech. She stared at the screen. A photo of them at the gala. Alan in his tailored tux. Demi radiant in a sleek emerald dress, arm wrapped proudly around him. Their chemistry was undeniable. Electric. Corey swallowed hard. Her finger hovered over the image. She clicked it. More photos. Demi on stage with Alan at tech expos. Demi in meetings with climate leaders. Demi speaking at MIT about algorithmic sustainability. The captions praised her. The brain behind the scale. Harvard AI specialist turned eco-entrepreneur. Alan's not-so-secret weapon. Corey blinked. It didn't make sense. Demi didn't look like the typical billionaire's girlfriend. She wasn't dripping in luxury. No over-the-top lashes or brand flaunting. Just brilliance. Real. She pulled up Demi's TEDx talk. Demi spoke with clarity and conviction. She wasn't flashy, just sharp, cool, composed. Her slides dissected carbon capture models and predicted Relief's impact for the next 10 years. Corey slammed her laptop shut. She couldn't take it. The rage and regret boiled together in her chest. She reached for her phone, opened Instagram, searched at Alan. Parker.relief. There he was. His new profile picture? A candid of him and Demi laughing in front of a wall of plant-based solar panels. He looked happy, genuinely. Corey's fingers hovered. She tapped message. Typed. Hey, wow. You look amazing, blue heart. She paused, deleted the heart, added it back, then hit send. She stared at her screen, waiting, nothing. Then, seen. Her stomach dropped. No reply, just silence. The stage lights shimmered brighter than usual. Alan had just wrapped another powerful segment on the Global Green Hour, a primetime show watched by millions across the world. He looked sharper than ever. Navy blue suit, no tie, crisp white shirt, sleeves slightly rolled. Casual, confident, purposeful. Demi sat in the front row. The host grinned. Alan, before we wrap, you said there was one more thing you wanted to say. Alan stepped forward, took the mic. Yes, he said, voice steady. There is. A pause. Then he turned, faced Demi. The crowd tensed. Alan handed the mic to the host, dropped to one knee, and pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. Gasps. The camera zoomed in. Inside the box, a massive diamond ring, oval cut, flawless clarity, glinting under the lights like a frozen star. The audience erupted. Alan looked up at her. Demi Rao, will you marry me and save the world with me? Demi's eyes welled up. She nodded before she could speak. Then, breathlessly, yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Applause thundered. The internet caught fire. Hashtag Relief proposal. Hashtag Diamond for Demi. Hashtag From waiter to world changer. Clips hit Twitter, TikTok, Instagram faster than wildfire. News anchors called it the green proposal that broke the internet. Corey watched it all from her phone. She was alone in her penthouse apartment. The soft life didn't feel so soft anymore. She watched Demi kiss him, watched Alan lift her off the ground, spinning her while the crowd chanted their names. And then her phone pinged. A message. Unknown number. Backstage pass. Come now. He asked for you. Corey's breath hitched. Her heart thudded. Alan wanted to see her. Now. After everything. She grabbed her bag. Her fingers trembled. Backstage buzzed with celebration. Champagne bottles popped. Reporters scrambled. Paparazzi flashed. But all Corey could hear was the echo of her heels on the polished floor as she walked down the corridor. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought the cameras might pick it up. Then, there he was. Alan, standing by a curtain, suit jacket off, sleeves rolled. Calm collected, in control. He saw her, smiled politely. No bitterness, no resentment, just peace. "Corey," he said, nodding. She froze. The man in front of her wasn't the Alan she left. That Alan had cracked hands, tired eyes, and hopeful words she didn't believe in. This Alan? He looked like he owned the future. And then she noticed Demi, standing beside him, hair in a high bun, glasses perched. That same nerdy chic glow that had gone viral hours ago. But in person, even more radiant. Alan gestured gently. "Corey, meet Demi, the woman who believed in me when no one else did." Corey blinked. Her eyes darted to the ring. That diamond, that promise, that life. Her throat tightened. She forced a smile. Demi stepped forward, extended a hand. Warm, genuine. "Nice to meet you," Demi said. "I've heard a little." Corey shook her hand. It felt like shaking hands with destiny. The kind that could have been hers, if she'd stayed. A pause, long uncomfortable. Alan nodded again. "I just wanted to say thank you. You walking away taught me what I needed." Corey opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Tears threatened to rise, but she blinked them back. "Congratulations," she whispered, then turned. Her heels clicked against the marble floor. Each step echoed louder than the last. Heart-shattering, until she was gone. As Corey scrolls through Forbes the next day, staring at the photos of Alan and Demi, the full weight of her decision sinks in. Alan built an empire. Corey's luxury life? It turned empty. Don't chase luxury. Invest in vision. Here's some questions for you, our viewers. Have you ever left someone who was chasing a dream, only to see them succeed without you? How did that feel? Do you believe vision and belief in someone's potential are more important than material wealth? Would you rather have potential than Prada? Why or why not? If you were Corey, would you have done things differently? What would you change? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories.